Hey guys, welcome to Brickstars. It's that time of year. We're nearing the end of 2025, which means one of two things for us: that there's a lot of new sets coming out or that have recently come out that are on our wish list, if you will. But it also means that a lot of sets are retiring. And that's what we want to focus on in today's video, is doing a live walkthrough, browsing the sets that are set to retire soon. There's probably over 100 sets here, and giving you our thoughts, which ones we plan to buy and which ones maybe make a good investment. So we'll give you a little bit of insight into how we decide which sets are potentially good for our collection or investment, and give you maybe some tips and tricks when you're browsing sets to help with your decision making. So again, this is just our thoughts. No guarantees of investment performance, just a friendly disclaimer, but maybe it'll help. You know, we've been buying and selling and collecting for quite a while now. So again, let's start with retiring soon. If you head to this page, you can sort it how you will. We're just going to leave it at recommended because we do plan on going through the full list. And again, it'll kind of be a live walkthrough of what and how our decision process works. So starting off with this Disney house here, this one's $230 US. Again, we're here in Canada. I've set the location to US just for simplicity, but this is one that we've had our eye on for a while, honestly. I think if you know our channel, we're really focused on castle, Western type stuff. This one could work very well as a castle set, and I always look at the quality of the pieces and parts that are included, and I see a lot of the gray, a lot of the brown. Where this one doesn't hit the mark for me personally is I always like to look at if the torsos are transferable to kind of a castle setting or just yellow minifigures in general. And although some of these prints are beautiful, I can see some of the flesh tones sticking throughout, and that's something that generally holds me back from purchasing a set that's not 100% in, you know, my wheelhouse. But beautiful set. I think this is one that anytime it's licensed, it's probably going to do well over time. And you do get a fair number of minifigures and nice prints there, some unique hair pieces. So I think if you're a fan of Hocus Pocus, definitely pick this one up before it's too late. Next one we're going to look at here is this modular, and we're not going to go through the whole set. I'm just picking out ones that I would potentially consider, because there is a lot of sets here, but it just so happens that the first couple are ones that interest me. So we do have this modular in our collection, and it's a beautiful set. I have thought about picking up a second one for the reason that I'd like to kind of put them back to back and maybe expand the hotel. I've also thought about just ordering these parts off Pick-a-Brick and kind of expanding a floor instead. So I'm still on the fence for $230. One thing I will note is if you're looking at sets like this, always check if they're available for purchase somewhere else like Amazon, and especially for Amazon days, or if you want to take the risk and wait until kind of Boxing Day and Christmas, it is possible that you could find these sets at a decent discount. But if you're running out of time, now's the time to pick this one up. I think probably, you know, anytime a set is this big, sourcing the parts off Pick-a-Brick, you're probably better off just buying the whole set. Next up, the Orient Express. This is one that one of my friends has, and it's a great looking set. I'm personally not a huge collector of the trains, not a lot of room and can't collect everything, but I do love this set. I love the prints, the details, the minifigures, and this is one that for sure I think over time will do really well as an investment piece. There's some unique prints in the minifigures, which always helps. A lot of the tile pieces are printed as well, so it's a very, very well done quality set. And if train sets from the past are any indicator, like the Emerald Knight, it should do pretty well. So it is on the higher priced end at $300 here, but you do get some track pieces, again, some unique parts, minifigures. This is one that I think overall would probably do good as an investment. All right, keeping things moving along. Obviously, some of our favorite sets here, the Lion Knight's Castle. I don't think this is one that, if you're a Castle fan, you want to miss out on. This one and the Medieval Town, both beautiful sets, huge sets. So when I look at investing, one thing I always evaluate is how easy would it be for me to purchase these parts and make this set or something close to it down the road, to basically offset the cost of buying, you know, a set that maybe goes up to $500, $600, $700. And the bigger the set, the trickier that is to do generally, especially if it has some specialty parts like these flags, these roof pieces, and the amount of minifigures. So when you're at 22 minifigures, by the time you buy all those minifigures and parts and everything, it's going to start to get expensive. So this is one that I plan on buying a second one to just hold in my collection one day for my kids. I'm kind of gambling on the fact that I don't think Lego's going to release such a big castle in the near term anyway. So I know as a kid I would have loved this. So if I can get something now potentially, and just hold it in box, and then maybe I get lucky and it skyrockets in price. But worst case scenario, I know my future kids would go crazy for a set like this. And the price per piece at 10 cents, if you buy right now and even just to expand your current castle, you'd be doing pretty good. Same thing on this one. This one's even better value. I think I've mentioned it in a couple other videos. It's 7 cents a piece. This is probably the best value set out there. I love the minifigures. It doesn't hurt to get more peasant figures, whether you're expanding or building a village. I do love this guy as well, and he comes with a cape. Of course, you can get these minifigures on Pick-a-Brick, which is one thing that I think is gonna influence set appreciation over time. And reason being is a lot of sets from like the last castle lineup, their price is driven by the fact that the minifigures or the animals, like those famous goats, were not available on Pick-a-Brick. So that makes, you know, the sets more expensive. It's not necessarily the set itself, it's the parts that came in with it. And all of these parts you can basically get on Pick-a-Brick. So I'm sure a lot of people have, and that's why I don't think this goat piece is gonna, you know, skyrocket in price like the other goats have. But value wise, getting the parts, getting the figs, the goat, I think this is a slam dunk. And the other thing to consider with sets like this is I don't think I've seen this being sold anywhere else. So anytime you see this exclusive, know that you're probably not going to find it. Well, you're not going to find it on Amazon or anything else for a deal or a cheaper price. So this one I would definitely recommend getting before it's gone if you're a fan of Castle. We're not huge Ninjago fans, so I can't really comment on that. This is an interesting one too for superhero fans, Batman fans, comic book fans. I think it's a pretty high price point, but a lot of intricate little specialty parts. I'd have to check myself if the figs are unique. I believe some of them are, which will help hold the price, but overall I think not a set for us, but I do think it looks pretty cool. Here's one that I'm on the fence on, and the reason I'm on the fence on this one is honestly, if they had made the minifigures, and I often like to do this, by the way, if you open the image and delete this part, you can kind of get a high res view of it. If they were less cartoony, which I know they made them accurate to the cartoon, and where they could kind of fit into a peasant, you know, setting for a medieval village, I would be all over this. But these guys are a little too cartoony for my liking. But the set does look really great. I like the roof technique. I think it could work as, you know, kind of a cabin in the woods. Very cozy looking, great part usage. Interesting hairpiece here. That's probably going to be a pretty rare part. So it's a nice set. The minifigures are one thing that, you know, holds me back from spending $220 US. This one's probably $300 here in Canada. So Not cheap. I'm on the fence on it. Viking Village. This is another example of one that if Pick-a-Brick didn't exist, I'd say get this for sure, because the shields, the torsos, beautifully done, the printed tile here. Otherwise, I do think it's still pretty good value. Let's have a look here. I've got kind of a sheet on the side here, which I kind of use to calculate things. So we're at 130. I'm doing this live for you guys, so don't mind me. But 6 cents a piece. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'd have to check if, you know, the price works out good in Canadian, but I have this set. I'd love to use it to expand it. It's got a lot of intricate, nice brown tan pieces. The base plate, there's, you know, anytime you look at a set like this, at least when I do, I don't realize how many parts go into actually building that base plate underneath there. So yeah, probably I'm gonna get this one before it goes out of stock. Another modular here. I'm surprised this one's not as old, but I guess they're making room for the new lineup. I have this one. I bought it secondhand off a local classified ad, honestly. So I probably wouldn't buy a second one myself. But if you have all the other modulars, for sure get it before it goes out of stock. Star Wars I'm not going to talk a whole lot about because admittedly I'm not an expert on it, but the Christmas Village lineup I do really like, and this is probably, I'm not a big fan of last year's, and this year's train doesn't do too much for me, so this is the last set that I really liked from the Christmas Village lineup. Great pieces here. You don't see these a whole lot, and again, for castle builders, the colors here, the gray stone, everything works pretty well. So if you're getting it for parts to use it, is great. The figures are a little bit generic, but they work for a town setting, so I don't think that's too bad, and you get some cool animals as well. So this is one that is also an exclusive, so you're not gonna find, you know, a crazy sale somewhere else. All right, Disney Castle. I know the original Disney Castle, I think it was, went crazy after it retired. I'd imagine the same thing here. I mean, this is wild. So if you have a kid that's just a little young and in a couple years they're gonna like Disney and see this and want it, and you're gonna have to spend $700, maybe you're better off getting it now. Huge set, tons of pieces. Again, the minifigures, a little cartoony for me, but they do look great. I actually really like this torso there, the printing on that one. Some nice play features there. That's a really nice torso too. Oh man, yeah, like that could work in many contexts. You see, that teal kind of reminds me of the CMF Dungeons and Dragons minifigure, but for me, it's a little too much right now to buy a set like this. So I'll probably pass on it, but if you have young kids, maybe it makes sense. Harry Potter, as much as I love the builds and some of the torsos, especially in this case, some of these torsos, you can easily convert if you're into yellow minifigures instead, into like a Western or castle scene. But one thing I will caution you with Harry Potter sets is they're often on Amazon for 20-30% off, so I wouldn't rush to get it here myself unless those other places are sold out and you really want this set. The other thing that's cool about this set is these new wand pieces. I haven't seen those very often in a lot of sets, and you do get the special dragon faced coins, which are also pretty rare, and I was hoping for a long time that they'd appear on Pick-a-Brick, but they have not. So that's another part that it's not crazy expensive, but yeah, it'd definitely be more than the 10-15 cent average for a lot of other parts. Here's one that I think from a collection and investing standpoint is probably going to do pretty well. The reason I say that is it's an exclusive, it's an icons, it's kind of a blast from the past. If my internet starts working, or if the Lego website starts working. We'll come back to that one. And again, Harry Potter, this is a great set. I love the dog in this set, but you could probably find it on Amazon for a lot less. And this is one, the pirate ship, that I think is a great parts pack. I do wish they did a little bit better on the minifigures, but quality of parts is great. I think this one is unfortunately one set that they've increased the price on. So if you got it early on, you got good value. Now, I don't know. I've been thinking of getting a second one just to kind of use and create some alternate builds. But again, I often question, you know, do I make something like this that looks pretty good, or do I design something myself that's a bit more fit for purpose and detailed and just order the parts? And probably for $100 I can order the parts and make it just how I want it. Here's last year's Christmas set, and it's very good looking. I do like this one. Maybe I said I didn't earlier, but now that I see it again, these parts for the hot air balloon, the colors, the brick built horn here, the male symbol, Lego male, the elves are cute. One thing that was missing is if they had thrown like a moose or something new in this set, I think it would be a slam dunk. But you know, Winter Village sets generally do good because, you know, down the road people start collecting them and then they want kind of to make a display, so they'll dish out the money for old ones. Again, it's an exclusive, so I'd probably look to get this one before it retires. Star Wars, generally, like I said, not my thing. Cars are usually pretty good, but I have found that you can find them on your local classifieds for a decent sale most times. The Razor Crest, if you've got $600 lying around that you want to invest. Star Wars generally does pretty good, I think. These ones are usually a good sale. They have sometimes specialty parts, the Chinese New Year sets. Like these are nice printed pieces, the gold in there, and they're typically heavily discounted. So honestly, I think whoever wanted them at this point got them. But yeah, this one, not a ton of parts. I think the other one had some better parts. Let's keep going here. These city ones, I don't think they had a huge life. That's another thing that we often consider is how long have these sets been out? I know those castle ones have been out for a while, but this is a fairly new set actually. So that could help drive its price up. And honestly, some of the best construction themed sets that Lego's ever released, I think. Technic, not really our thing. These helmets, not really our thing. Or these buildable characters, so I'm gonna skip over those. That's cute. Dumbo. I mean, brickheads are always one of those things that they're you know, even though this isn't it is a brickhead, yeah, it's not a huge dollar value, but sometimes that's good because, you know, selling something for $400 is tricky. Selling something for $20, not that bad. So when this retires, you'll probably be able to find someone to buy it for $15-20, and if you look at it as a percentage, that's a pretty good return. So this particular brickhead is especially cute. Yeah, Star Wars. I do like sometimes looking at Star Wars sets just for the sake of seeing the minifigures, and I don't know their names, but it just looks so weird, so weird. But that drives up the price on a lot of these sets. I don't know if it will on this one. I do like that torso there too. Some more. These ones I think could do pretty good. The kind of branded race cars. Jurassic Park, again, on Amazon you can find these for, you know, 20-30% off. This lineup of space, honestly, I think is one of the best lineups of space Lego's given us, and I can imagine if they did something like this for Castle, I'd be all over it. But not having a lot of space in my collection, both theme-wise and actual physical space, it's one that I've passed on. But I think they did an amazing job designing the figs, alluding to the past. The sets are beautifully designed, tons of play features. I love the color theme of them, and I guess they're retiring. I know that's a fairly new one. I think I saw one of the other ones as well somewhere down the list, but definitely I'm considering getting those space sets just to hold them because I think they're so well done. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Friends, obviously not something that we really collect, but what else do we have? Yeah, like this is the space stuff that I'm talking about. Sometimes I've seen it on Amazon for a little bit of a discount, but and like the different colors, this one especially, I think the dark green guy may be unique to this set, so that'll help, you know, drive the price down the road. But really well done sets. So sometimes I like to buy sets just to show support for in-house themes as well. Like I'm a big fan of in-house themes as opposed to licensed ones. So I love when they do stuff like this, but it's sad because maybe the sales volumes do show that they don't sell as well, which is probably why we see fewer and fewer in-house themes and more of the licensed stuff. But just look as a children's toy how great that looks. So something I definitely buy for my kids, and so maybe I buy it now and hold on to it till they're old enough to play and appreciate it. Jurassic Park, again, anytime there's a unique dinosaur, in this case a Stegosaurus, one of my favorites. I have this set, I got it just for the dinosaur, but again, I got it on Amazon. I think it was 25% off, so wouldn't necessarily rush to buy it here. Okay, these ones too. These ones don't have or haven't had a very long shelf life compared to some other stuff, but I love this. The colors match the Arctic ones. You get some unique animals, and the animals aren't cheap on Pick-a-Brick. Like, they're cheaper than buying the whole set, but honestly, I don't know if a ton of people would have bought them. So if you're going to rely on the secondary market, the animals will probably go up, but the set itself has some big pieces too. So this is one that I'd say if you don't have it, I would look to get it. Same with this one. Like, the tiger itself is, you know, maybe a fifth of the cost of the set, and it'll probably go up over time because it's a very nicely molded tiger, unlike the previous tiger that Lego released, and it's actually orange. The other one was more yellow, so I think this is a much better version of the tiger, and I think the set's a very reasonable price. Like, sets in this price range could easily, you know, sell for $60 because it's something that's not going to break the bank at that price point even. And you get Johnny Thunder modernized version of him, so definitely recommend that one. Let's keep going. We're almost just past the halfway mark. Friends is not our area of expertise, but they do have some very well designed sets. Mario, what else do we have? Some sets like this are tricky to predict. The black skeletons I found kind of cool, and Thor here, but these type of builds never really kind of stood out to me that much. So I don't know, probably a pass on my end. Yeah, you can see kind of almost the quality of the sets has gone down, so it must be the recommended is kind of sets that sold a lot. This is a really cool build, the shopping mall here. Oh man, I don't really know anything about Animal Crossing, but I will say this sleepy duck figure is adorable. So just the builds are so weird to me, very blocky. I know that's you know, probably what the show or game or whatever it is like. But I do find the figures neat in a way, so for this guy, maybe I dish out $30. Yeah, we'll see. I like the shirt too. Okay, this one's expiring. Yeah, not bad. You get 2 sheep, a lamb, $20. Probably an okay buy. Moving along. New York, it's on back order. So anytime something's on back order, you can kind of guess that it's been ordered a bunch, and you know, you may get one more chance to get it, and then it's gone. This is an interesting set. I always thought it was a little bit overpriced, but I do think it looks really cool. It's another one that I've seen on Amazon for significant discounts. That's why I wouldn't get it here, but for landscaping, it's got some great pieces and some great building techniques. I think when you build sets like this, you learn and expand some things. So and it does make a nice display set. I just think for the price point, I probably would pass on it here. Almost there, guys, almost near the end. So there's not a huge amount. The first couple pages were more in line with what we're looking at. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is maybe, you know, younger age range. Yeah, some Duplo stuff. Okay, this doesn't seem like it's that old of a set, but yeah, the police chase. Here's one from Lego's in-house theme, Dreams. I want to like these sets so bad, but they just look like AI generated things, kind of random. But I do like the colors, I do like the minifigures. I really like the shark boat from the previous wave, and kind of regret not getting it. That's why I'm kind of considering this one, but it's just so tough to reuse these minifigures anywhere in my collection. But the build looks pretty cool, and it's so different than anything else. That's why I swear these are, you know, sets that look like they were AI generated, and then designers took over and refined them from there. But the Dreams wave is an interesting one for me. I don't know. Fire Rescue, $54, $55. Not a bad plane to get. Yeah, some Ninjago stuff. It's getting kind of into the smaller sets now. And that may be it. We've got one more page, so lots of stuff retiring, but I don't know, there's not a ton of stuff that I'd buy. So it's on this first page, these castle sets. Maybe I do get this one. I thought I'd be spending more money, but the Viking Village, yeah. And this guy, let's see if he's gonna work. Yeah, there we go. The Blacktron Renegade. I wish the minifigures had some different prints as well. I've got the blue spaceship, for lack of a better word, the Intergalactics. Oh man, you can tell I'm not a huge space guy, but I appreciate it for sure. So I do love what they did here with remaking the original. It's kind of like that vintage system build. That's what intrigues me to get it, because I know one day if I do start to like space and start to build things, this is going to be one that I'm going to want to have, and it's not a crazy price. So yeah, we'll see. That's yeah, that's kind of a review and walk through our process. So again, make sure you double check if other places carry it. It's probably a better deal. If there's stuff that's exclusive, this is the spot to get it. They're probably not going to be around until the next double point sale. So if something's on your radar, pull the trigger. And like I always say, you won't regret having more Lego. Your wallet may hurt, but that's okay. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we showed you some good stuff, and good luck. Take care.